student and the slide in the background from this angle, so that's why.
Okay, okay. I got you now.
Okay.
Good job.
So this wasn't that we didn't want to sit with you.
Okay.
It's your socks, though.
I mean, your socks were a little loud, but
Yeah, we have one of those for his slides. Just the person before and the person after.
Welcome, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting to order for June 10th, 2025. If you could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. And we have a treat this evening because we have the kids from Nob Hill Elementary that are going to lead us today.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Great job. And I have an invocation this evening. God, we ask your blessings on those who have been called to lead the community in which we live, work, and play. Guide us peacefully through debate. Remind us that we are not only leaders, but mostly servants, and that it is our responsibility and ours to serve the common good of all. Let us grant the wisdom, or God grant us the wisdom, to know what to do is good, right, and true. May we speak out when it's time to speak out and listen patiently and respectfully. That when it is time to listen, may we always be guided by the spirit of community, by the spirit of justice, and by the spirit of love. Amen. Okay. If we could have a roll call, please.
Councilmember LeBlanc,
Present.
Councilmember Musgrove,
Here.
Councilmember Nunez,
Present.
Deputy Mayor Sinella,
Here.
and Mayor Jones.
Here. Okay, first up, we have a presentation. We're very excited this evening from Nob Hill Elementary. The council is going to sit during the first part of it, and then we'll go down when it's time for certificates. So Bill Dean is the founder of Poseidon Education and Nob Hill Elementary principal. Sanella is here also, and the students are going to be providing a PowerPoint presentation. So we will sit, and who's going to be presenting this evening on that? Oh, it's official.
Hi, my name is Grayson. Welcome to our presentation about the Water Resource Management Leadership Program. We are all 5th grade students from Nob Hill Elementary School. We are here to tell you what we learned about water on our school campus. This leadership program has taught us a lot about how we use water on our school campus. Before this, we only thought there was one water system, and we didn't know about all the water uses. From this program, our class learned about the 4 water systems: potable water, wastewater, reclaimed water, and stormwater. We also learned that at this school, we mainly use water for washing hands, flushing toilets, and irrigation. About 70% of our planet is water. 97% of that water is found in the ocean, which we cannot drink. That leaves 3% of fresh water. But 2% of all fresh water is ice that we cannot use, leaving 1% for all humans, animals, and plants to use. 0.9% of fresh water is groundwater, which is expensive to get, and 0.1% is surface water. Only 0.03% of fresh water is found in easily accessible waterways. We learned how managing water all started. A long time ago, people used canals to move water in small towns for their water needs. Over time, the systems advanced. The Romans made aqueducts that moved water down over long distances. The aqueducts were tilted down because, as we learned, water always flows downhill. Today, we still use aqueducts, like the California aqueduct, to maneuver water to farms and cities.
Hi, my name is Bradford, and we have learned a lot about water management in our community. The red triangles on the map mark the different systems in our water. The lakes, lagoons, and reservoirs are all around us. There are systems that bring clean, potable water to us and dirty wastewaters away. These systems keep our water and waterways clean and the dirty and keeps us healthy. We were also taught about the water agencies. We learned how the San Diego County Water Authority sells Vista Irrigation District, and they can then sell to Nob Hill Elementary School. The water meter tells us how many units of water we use every month and tells the Vista Irrigation how much to charge us. There is 1 meter on campus. We get our potable water from Vista Irrigation District. We use about 387 units, or 289,476 gallons of water a month at Nob Hill. We spend about $3,792 on water each month. For comparison, if we use bottled water instead, we would spend about $2,391,071 a month. We conducted a water taste test of 4 different samples. 3 samples were collected out of school, and 1 sample was bottled water. Our hypothesis was that bottled water would taste the most superior out of the 4 opinions. Between the students in our VIP's bottled water and tap water were tied for the best tasting, which makes us think tap water tastes better than we thought. Surprisingly, the teacher's lounge was voted for the worst. In the end, we wondered why so many people buy bottled water knowing that it costs $8 a gallon, compared to the equally tasting water that comes out of the tap for 1 cent. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Brady Burris. We wanted to know how our school was using all this water. We know that every student washes their hands at school, and maybe a lot of water is used for washing hands. To start, we did a faucet flow test to learn how much water comes out of our sink faucets per minute. We put a container under the sink and left the water running for 10 seconds. We knew when 10 seconds were done by using a stopwatch. We then looked at the marking on the container and wrote down how much water came out. We tested sinks in different classrooms around our school. For some sinks, the water came out a lot faster than others. We think it's because some sinks have aerators, so on average, there are 1.5 gallons of water coming out of the sinks per minute. Next, we timed how long students wash their hands so we could see how much water is used. We went into different classrooms across all grades, and students volunteered to wash their hands for the data. We timed how long each student washed their hands using a stopwatch. We used this data along with the results from the faucet flow test to do our math. These are the results from our hand washing data collection. We figured out that there are about 3,510 hand washings each day at school. We used the number from the flow test to figure out that each day we use 2,632 gallons of water. Each month we use 57,915 gallons. Out of the potable water coming into the building, we estimated that 20% of that is used for washing hands.
Hello, my name is Zenaida Camacho. When we use potable water, we make it dirty and it goes down drains and toilets and enters the wastewater system. Valicitos takes all of our wastewater and cleans it at the Medwalk wastewater treatment plant. Officials from Valicitos came to our school and showed us how they clean the sewer system. They have big trucks that help us clean pipes by boosting water in it. We also learned that a little mobile camera checks the pipe for clogs and broken spots. These are blue dye tablets that we put in our toilet tanks at home to check for leaks. We left it in there for 2 hours and checked the toilet bowl for blue water. The majority of our toilets that we tested at home were all clear and had no leaks. If the water was slightly blue, there was a little leak, and if the water was really blue, there was a big leak. Unfortunately, 30% of the toilets tested had leaks, and we are planning on fixing them. This will help our parents save money. Reclaimed water is cleaned wastewater that is reused for irrigation. It is not drinkable, but it is better to use for irrigation than potable water. We found out that we don't use recycled water on campus. If we use reclaimed water at school instead of potable water, we would save $9,031 a year. This saved money could be used to pay our teachers more or get more chicken nuggets at lunch.
Hello, my name is Kenzie Eslin. Mr. Isaac from San Marcos Unified School District taught us about the controller, the valves, and the sprinkler heads being used at our school. Then we spread out and inspected the irrigation system to see if it was working correctly. We found some dry areas and some muddy areas. Also, like we said, our school uses potable water for irrigation, and leaks cost the school extra money. We learned about the stormwater system on our campus through a presentation and tour made by Reed Thornberry from the city of San Marcos. Our school is clean, and stormwater is clean as it falls from the sky. Since our campus is on a hill, the stormwater that lands here flows in 2 directions. On our campus, it picks up pollutants that flow into Escondido Creek, which flows out to San Elijo Lagoon, and San Marcos Creek, which flows out to Batasquitos Lagoon. We did a walk around in our school and assessed our stormwater system. We found that our school does not use bioretention basins, which would naturally filter our stormwater before it goes down the drain. There are a bunch of global issues like climate change and growing populations, which can lead to water scarcity. Water pollution and plastic pollution. These problems can lead to animals and humans getting sick. We have problems we found over the course of this program. Some of the problems we found were trash and litter on campus, using plastic water bottles, irrigating with potable water, clogged and or dirty storm drains, and leaving the water on while hand washing.
The first problem we were dealing with on campus is trash and litter. We toured our campus and identified areas that have lots of trash and litter. We learned how this trash and litter can go into our storm drains and end up in our creeks, lagoons, and ocean. Our trash and litter can harm both animals and plants in our watershed. To stop trash and litter from flowing off of our school, we want to educate other students, to teachers and parents about the problem of trash at Nob Hill. To start, we have created posters to put up around campus as part of our campaign. If you look around the room, you'll see some of the posters we created. With students and teachers aware of the problem, everyone can start picking up trash and litter at school. To do that, we need more trash and recycling containers, trash pickers, and buckets. With this equipment, we can get each class to pick up as much litter as they can and make that into a contest for which class can pick up the most. This will help Nob Hill, a much cleaner school, and help our custodian, Mr. Rosas.
Hello, my name is Samuel Perez, and we learned about the impact of plastic in our waterways and how the world and plastic bottles are such a big part of that. Here at Nob Hill, students still bring plastic water bottles to school, and as we have learned, bottled water is expensive, and plastic bottles are bad for the environment. Some students are doing the right thing in bringing reusable water bottles. However, we want every student at Nob Hill to use a reusable water bottle. We are telling every student how bad plastic water bottles are to get them to use reusable water bottles. We are going to tell all of students and parents by posting a message on the sign in front of this school and posting posters like this one around campus. In addition, we reached out to the companies in San Marcos to see if they would provide free water bottles to students who need them. Nelson Family Orthodontics donated 120 water bottles for us to use amongst these students. Thank you so much. As we mentioned earlier, we did a toilet leak test. Almost 30% of all toilets were leaking, and we didn't even know it. If 30% of all toilets in San Marcos have this problem, that's a lot of water and money wasted. We think a solution to help save water and money would be for every student at Nob Hill to bring a reusable water bottle. Well, to test their toilet for leaks. We want to give every student at Nob Hill a blue pill and a sign to take home. In addition, imagine if Vista Irrigation gave out a blue pill and a sign to every one of their customers. That would save a lot of water.
Good evening, my name is Alex Skinner. For Vallecitos, flushable wipes are a big problem. And we want every student and parent to know that pipes can become clogged and cause overflow of dirty wastewater. Plus, you can imagine what it's like to have to clean out dirty clogged wipes from an underground pipe. Yuck. The solution is simple. Don't flush wipes down the toilet, and if people knew that they weren't actually flushable, they wouldn't do it anymore. We think we could educate students by posting signs at school and parents by sending home flyers. This would help the nice workers we met from Vallecitos. As we learned, we spend quite a bit of money on hand washing here at Nob Hill. If we could reduce the amount of water being used during hand washing, it would save our school money. The solution to saving water is simple. Turn off water while using soap, just like we do when we brush our teeth. To get students to do this, we'll put up signs by the faucets and even do hand washing demonstrations in the classrooms.
Good evening, I'm Jason Noble. When we walked around with Mr. Isaac, we identified some problems with irrigation here on campus. The system seemed to be working well, except for a few areas. We saw dry spots on the main field and some soggy areas on the TK playground. Our solution is to write to Mr. Isaac and the school district And so we could tell them where these areas are and recommend they adjust the system. In addition, we could mention how we could save roughly $9,000 each year if we used reclaimed water. Maybe during the construction project, the school district and the Vista Irrigation District could see if reclaimed water could be used at our school. We created a water resources management plan for Nob Hill that shows what we did at his school and what we found. It also has our recommendations for solutions and other ways we can improve our campus. We'll be giving our principal and superintendent a copy, and we have one for you. This plan also includes our actions of communicating to students and staff about what they can do to solve these problems. We learned a lot in this program, and now we are water leaders for Nob Hill. Thank you, Poseidon Education, for teaching us all about water and how we use our water at our school. Thank you, Vallecito's Water District, for sponsoring this program, coming out to teach us and letting us present to you today. And thank you to our teachers for bringing the program into our classroom. We learned a lot and now know what it takes to be water leaders at the school and in the community. Are there any questions?
That was great. Okay, we're coming down there. First of all, great job. But I have to say, Nelson Family Orthodontics, they gave you guys water bottles. That is so amazing. I'm so glad they did that. Anyway, we have certificates for each one of you. So I'm going to have you all come up and then we're going to read your name. I'm just going to read one certificate. But really, great information. I actually learned a few things I didn't even know. So that's really good. So could we have Jace Noble? Yep, come on up. Good job. I'm going to give you that, and then I want you to stand right over there if you don't mind. Alexander Skinner. Great job. You're very welcome. Addison Saylor. Oh, you're Grayson?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, she's not here. Okay, I'll just set that right there for her. Okay, so Brady Burt. Oh, wait, let me find yours. You are. I'm sorry. What was your name again? Grayson. Let me find it real quick. Were you filling in?
Yeah.
Okay, then we're going to get you a certificate. So no problem. So I'm going to give you this for Addison, knowing that it's the wrong one, but we're going to get you the right one. So thank you again for your contributions, and good job stepping in at the last minute. I think he was voluntold. We do that a lot in this city. That's great. Okay, Brady Burris. Miles Rodriguez. You're very welcome. Bradford Estelle. You're very welcome. Okay, I'm feeling a little intimidated by how great these kids are. Looking into my eyes and everything, I mean, seriously, I could never do that at their age. Grayson Valdez? Oh, that's me. That's you. Okay, we do have yours. We do have yours. I was thinking, I'm sure I just said this name.
One for one.
Okay, so, well, I still need to get this to Addison, but I'll get that to your teacher. Okay. So you get double claps for stepping in at the last minute. Kinsey Eslin. Uh-oh. Got that? Okay. Zenaida Camacho. You're very welcome. And Samuel Perez. All right, now I'm going to tell you what the certificates say. They're honorable certificates of recognition for completing the Water Resources Leadership Program. Through the completion of this project, you have demonstrated a deep commitment to understanding the science and systems behind water movement through our world and through our city too, through rigorous exploration of infrastructure, wastewater treatment, reclaimed water, and stormwater. You also have gained invaluable knowledge and insight into sustainability and conservation. Your passion and leadership in protecting one of our planet's most precious resources serves as an inspiration to others. And I have to tell you, I know that each one of you really kind of went outside your comfort zone because this is not something you do every day. Did one of you want to speak about this or not so much? It's okay. Oh, of course. Okay, now we have a volunteer, which I even love more. Come on down.
So, I'd want to thank Mr. Dean, who I think we were learning about this for about 14 weeks, and of course some of the times it was very long and it was quite boring sometimes, but in the end it was also really fun because we learned so many things that most adults may not know, and this will go on through our lives, you know, and this would very benefit us in the future. And I'd like to show everybody who came here, and they had this practice. We only had 2 days to practice these speeches that we had, and and Grayson, he also had a baseball game, so he fit this in when Addison dropped out. So also thank you everybody for coming.
That is amazing. Did you have something you wanted to say, Alexander? Yes? Come on down. We don't get to do this very often, and you know what? If you're brave enough to come up here, we want to support that and champion you. So go ahead.
Thank you so much. I'd like to thank everyone involved in this program for teaching us so much, and I think what the council should take from this presentation is that if we save water, if we go through the effort to save water in our community, in our school, we will have a lot of money left over for funding and extra things that would be great for the community. I think it would really benefit us as a community. Thank you.
I think we might have some students that go into the water industry for sure. Anyway, we're going to take a quick picture. Congratulations to each one of you. And if you could come out, we're going to take a picture. Great job. Well, I love that. I did when I was your age.
Are you the principal in the picture too?
Amy. Yeah. I have that certificate. Okay.
All right, start smiling, kids. Smile. Keep smiling.
Okay, now you have to shake everyone's hands. Yes, your paparazzi. Okay.
Good job. Good job, guys.
You like that one?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I was going to grab this. Yeah, I was going to get that.
Exactly.
Great job, guys. Thank you so much for coming. Okay, now you guys get to go do your homework. Oh, it's our pleasure. Wait, tomorrow's the last day of school?
We don't have homework.
How amazing is that? Oh my gosh. Yes, what a way to end the year. Congratulations to you all. Okay, you guys get to go home now. You're very welcome. Well, I didn't even realize that tomorrow's the last day of school. We actually have some kids here from San Marcos High School that we're celebrating on top of it. Our swim team. We have Coach Neely Esposito, Coach Nathaniel Hong, and then we need Gabby Esposito, Madison McCormick, Lauren Putnam, and Cassidy Allison to come on down. So I happened to be at Sets for dinner one night, and I see this whole group, and everyone is like championing these young swimmers. And I'm like, what's going on? Tell me about this. So this is really cool because they actually won. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, in recognition of outstanding season for the San Marcos High School swim and dive team, which, by the way, they don't even have their own pool. So the extraordinary things, lengths that they go to just to practice is pretty crazy. Anyway, as a member of the 400-yard freestyle relay team, proudly known as the Kalamaga crew, is that right? Did I say that right? Okay. You contributed to an exceptional performance, helping to secure the CIF San Diego Section Division I Championship. Let's give them a hand for that. Your dedication, your teamwork, and relentless pursuit of excellence serve as an inspiration to all of your teammates, your school, and the San Marcos community, as well as the San Marcos City Council, because we don't get to celebrate too much these sorts of things because I don't think it's ever happened. Anyway, we, the City Council of the City of San Marcos, are so proud of you and congratulate you on your truly memorable and inspiring season. And then I have certificates for all of you. Cassidy. Congratulations. Lauren Putnam. Congratulations. You're very welcome. Gabby Esposito. Congratulations. You're very welcome. And then Madison McCormick. Congratulations. And then I have this for you.
Oh.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you.
Neely
Yeah.
Esposito.
Yeah, thank
Yes,
you.
we met. It's great to see you
Yeah,
again.
thank you for
Yes.
having us.
Congratulations. And then I'd like for you to talk a little bit about the evening
Okay.
or the actual moment that they won and how that looked, if you don't
Okay.
mind. 'Cause
Okay.
it's very exciting.
Okay, put me on the spot.
Oh,
That's
you're just
okay.
sharing a story.
Oh, yeah, no,
You're sharing a
it's
story.
okay. So I came into this coaching experience as an assistant coach and then became head coach. And I got to go to states with this team for the last 3 years. And the biggest, well, for me, the biggest, and I think for them too, was that the two on the end, they've been in this succession for the last 4 years. So we won CIF 4 years in a row, and I got to be a part of that for 3 of the 4 years. And so it was, we were definitely scraping for points, but they really came together, and it's not just these 4 girls, but the whole girls swim team, which some of them are here tonight. And it was just an honor to be recognized, and we got some press in the Union Tribune, and then we got invited here, and yeah, it's just an honor to be recognized outside of the high school and the pool. So thank you for having us. Yeah.
So there are 40 young women on this team, or I'm sorry, swimmers, because I don't think they're all girls, correct?
No.
Yes, so we have 40 swimmers on this team. We do have certificates for all of them, but in interest of time, we wanted to celebrate you, but we're honestly celebrating all of the swimmers. And that is just, it's so exciting for us to be able to do that as the city council, because really, we love, you guys are the next generation of our community, so we're really, really excited. So we're going to take a quick picture, and let's give them a round of applause, though.
Can we invite the rest of the
Yes.
kids that came?
We want all of the team to come up that's here this evening, please. Yes. All right, we're going to scooch in with us.
We need a couple rows. Let's get a couple rows.
Couple rows, front row.
You guys are actually
Come on, squeeze in over this way. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. All right, keep smiling.
I love how the kids come with your own paparazzi. We love it. Thank you so much and congratulations. Let's give them one more round.
Thanks again.
Thank you. Of course. My pleasure. Thank you. All right, we have one more thing this evening. Oh, actually, this is for Nathaniel. Oops, sorry. We're turning the tables. We're actually getting an award. So California Parks and Recreation Society, CPRS, is giving us a presentation for the Bradley Bike Park. If you haven't been to it, it is so cool. I'm not kidding when I say that. So the Bradley Bike Park has received the CPRS 2024 Excellence in Design Park Planning Award. And so this evening, we're going to have Nicole McNeil from the CPRS State Board section representative, and Buck Martin, who is our former director of Parks and Rec, and any city staff that was part of this exceptional feature to our park. So you want to come on down? And Buck, I'm not sure that I've ever seen you in street clothes like that. It's great to see you again.
Where do you want us? Where do you want us?
Wherever you'd like to be.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Thank you, City Leadership. Good evening, Nicole McNeil on behalf of the California Parks and Recreation Society. I'm very thankful to be here to present this special award. The CPRS Annual Awards Program celebrates outstanding examples of quality facility and park design, programming accomplishments, effective communications, community leadership, and professional successes that take place daily in our profession. Through our 5 award categories, we highlight the people, places, spaces, programs, and stories that make communities like those within San Marcos special. As one of 135 total applicants and 6 awardees for excellence in design park planning, the Bradley Bike Park in San Marcos is the first of its kind in northern San Diego County, transforming a community challenge into a celebrated recreational asset. Opened in June 2024, the park features a pump track and 3 progressive jump lanes, offering a safe, inclusive space for bikers of all ages and skill levels. Its development was driven by grassroots advocacy after unsanctioned bike jumps in protected open space created environmental and financial challenges for the city. Through innovative collaboration with the San Diego Mountain Bike Association, the Friends of San Marcos Parks and Recreation, and local youth, the city secured grants and input to bring the park back to life. Attracting over 100 daily visitors and earning over 100,000 impressions on initial media posts, the park has become a hub for wellness, skill building, and community connection. Bradley Bike Park exemplifies the transformative power of community-driven solutions in parks and recreation. It's amazing. I want to turn it over to Buck, who's also going to say a few words.
Just a few. This is all about good government. What I really find rewarding in being a public servant is being able to come together as a community, listening to the community, what their wants and needs are, and then figuring out a way to meet their needs. And so it takes a village, and it started with just having a meeting here at the council chambers, Darren, myself, and Andrea, and listening to what people are really looking for as far as recreational opportunities. And then we pieced together through collaborations throughout the county with, as mentioned, Nicole mentioned the Friends, Catherine Gray and her board, and Holly Malin, I know she's here. Prop 68 money from the state, the neighborhood grant from the county, and of course, general fund money. I also want to thank Michelle for keep pushing us to get this thing done. Kyle was a project manager. Isaac Echemende is his boss, and working collaboratively together with them, we were able to locate and find somebody that really knew what they were doing when it comes to building this. It's dirt art, is what you would call it. And so this amazing team came together and really poured themselves into this. And the end result is what you see out there at Bradley Park, our oldest park in our system on a landfill, and it's a great utilization of space. So proud to be part of that, and congratulations to all the team, and great to see all of you again. Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you. I have a quick question. Is Schneider grading here this evening? Schneider?
No.
Oh, gosh, he did such an amazing job.
And
he really
wanted
did.
to say that he was so impressed with you getting on a bike and getting on the pump track.
I did.
Well, you kept grabbing towards the front brake, which would have been not good.
I was scared. I was scared. I was trying not to.
Yeah, and so that's Devin Snyder Construction, and his team was Eddie Reynolds and Bubba Warren, Jonathan Breen, and a number of volunteers. So, yeah, it's a great team, very dynamic.
That's a great job. We're very honored to keep on it. Can I get that? All right.
Yes, ma'am.
And if you haven't been there, it really is truly a work of art. Is it still closed on Mondays, Michelle? Okay, so it's open every day except for Monday. Like all of our parks, it opens at dawn and closes at dusk, correct? Or it's our special hours that I don't remember.
I do not know off the top of my head.
You might need some help on this one.
Exactly.
10? It opens at 10 and it closes at dusk? Oh, it closes. Oh. Okay. The opposite.
We
The
have our
opposite.
we have our public works experts in the audience, so we
I
can
find
call a
this
friend.
to be amazing. Anyway, thank you. It really is amazing. Okay, moving on to consent calendar. Do we have any items that any council members wish to pull? If seeing none, then do I have a motion to approve?
I'll move.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any noes? Seeing none. Okay, next up is oral communications. We have one speaker, which is Grace Spivak from Universidad Popular. Welcome.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Good to see you. For the record, my name is Grace Spivak, and I'm here on behalf of Universidad Popular to provide our on-the-record updates. So first up, we participated in the Mayor's State of Your Community event last Wednesday. Thank you for the opportunity to participate. It was a chance to connect with fellow community members and to hear updates from across the city. While the event had a more formal tone and limited time for in-depth discussion, we did appreciate the opportunity to be present and to represent our work. These kinds of gatherings help keep us grounded in the broader context of what's happening across the city of San Marcos. One piece of feedback that we would like to offer is the importance of working really intentionally to reach our Spanish-speaking community members. Overall, it still feels like the city hasn't fully figured out how to engage with our everyday residents in a really meaningful way. We're looking forward to future opportunities that prioritize that open dialogue, deeper community exchange, and the shared learning. We hope that next year's event will create more space for authentic connection and broader inclusion as well. We also wanted to briefly acknowledge and appreciate the efforts that went into the campaign for Measure Q. It's great to see a budget that's really going to address the needs of our community. It was very important to us as an organization, and we had such a great experience working with the coalition and others that made sure the measure passed. Our team played a key role in the community outreach to gain support for this measure that would bring us much needed resources and help us keep the level of service for our community. Thank you to everyone who worked tirelessly to pass Measure Q last year. This morning, our team attended the San Marcos Forward Chamber of Commerce event, and we appreciated the informative presentations about the updates going on in the city. We were curious if there's a way to encapsulate this information to be able to share with the broader community, those who were not present at the event this morning. Also, an update on the classes and programs that we offer. All of our classes will continue through the summer. So our San Marcos citizenship class are ongoing, and they're held at San Marcos Elementary School every Tuesday from 5 to 7. We're always seeking volunteer tutors to help our students practicing for the exam in English as well as in Spanish. Your support can make a meaningful difference in their journey to citizenship. And we're deeply grateful for our partnerships, as always, with the San Marcos Unified School District and San Marcos Elementary Administration, whose collaboration makes our mission of empowering our community through civic engagement possible. Every new citizen in our region represents a new voter in our community, strengthening our democracy. We're also part of California's Listos program and hold disaster and emergency preparedness classes across different locations in North County to help the community be prepared for any type of emergency or if they need to evacuate. This has been especially important recently with extreme heat that we see coming this summer, and so we're trying to help our community members be prepared. Thank you.
Thank you, Grace. I wanted to make a couple of comments. One is today's event was a Chamber of Commerce event. I know that they videotape it. They generally post that online. The economic development video that was previewed today, that's already online. I saw that on social media. I believe it will be on our website as well. The economic development video, I think it probably will. Somewhere. It'll be somewhere. And then the State of the City, which happened last Wednesday, is an event that we put on as a city. That was one of the promises that I made when I was first elected as mayor in 2018. So it debuted in 2019, which is a free event for the community. It was at the Senior Center this year in District 1 in Councilmember Nunez's district. And that was Wednesday, and we always have that every year. Usually it's the week before the Chamber of Commerce event. So just wanted to give you information about that. All right, moving on to, we have no other public speakers now. Moving on to public hearings, we have Resolution 2025-9444, amending the city's 2025 Regional Transportation Improvement Program for fiscal years 25 through 29, which is item number 6 on the agenda. Do we have a presentation on that?
Yes, Madam Mayor, we have a very brief presentation. This proposed amendment is put forth for consideration in order to amend the 2025 Regional Transportation Improvement Program, RTIP, which was adopted last year via Resolution 2024-9303 and includes regional transportation projects that are Transnet funded and other projects that are capacity increasing or regionally significant. Like our CIP, the RTIP is a 5-year plan, with the current RTIP programming spanning fiscal years 2025 through 2029. SANDAG offers opportunities for amendments to the RTIP at various times throughout the 5-year cycle in order to update project budgets. This amendment to the RTIP satisfies the requirement of the RTIP to be consistent with the city's CIP budget. Lots of government acronyms, it's perfect. Transnet funds account for about $2.2 million annually towards important street improvement projects in the city and are reflected in Table 1 of the city's RTIP program summary. That concludes my presentation, unless there are any questions.
I just wanted to, on all of the bike lanes that are discussed, these are Class 2 bike lanes, I believe?
That is correct. They are buffered bike lanes. By buffered bike lanes, that is the Class 2. Buffered is the paint. It can be regular paint. It can be the green paint that you're seeing around town, but those are Class 2 buffered bike lanes.
Okay, and just a quick question, because I remembered us selecting a green. Wasn't there a special green that we had selected, or did we not select that yet?
No, there are green buffered bike lanes around town. I think you notice them as you're driving, you're starting to see those buffered lanes coming in.
And they're very bright, so that means caution. There are cyclists generally in those lanes. So I just wanted to make sure. But I thought there were like 2 different colors of green. No? I don't know.
I don't remember
I might be splitting hairs
having
right now,
I don't remember us having a paint selection committee, but I know that when we're working on our active transportation plan, that Isaac and Etchemendy and Stephanie Keller were certainly instrumental in making that happen.
I just think that the brighter the green, the more they stand out to protect our cyclists. So just wanted to put in my 2 cents worth, and if anyone happens to care about that. Anyway, that's just my opinion on that. Okay, all right, any questions from any council members? No? This is a public hearing. I would move to close the public hearing. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any noes? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve? Or
Move to
adopt,
approve.
I guess it is.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any noes? Seeing none, motion passes unanimously. Item number 7, the public hearing pursuant to Assembly Bill 2561 to report on vacancies, recruitment, and retention efforts at the City of San Marcos. This is a new state law that we are complying with, and we will be receiving the informational report. 3 people to help us with a state law that's an unfunded mandate. Just talking about the irony of it.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. We do have our Human Resources Risk Team. This is a great opportunity for the team to gain some presentation experience, because luckily HR does not get to be front and center very often, which is probably a good thing. So tonight I will hand it over to Janelle Laughlin, who is Administrative Services Director, and Stacy Armacost, our Human Resources Risk Manager, and she will do some further introductions.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. I'm Stacy Armacost, HR Risk Manager, and tonight we will be introducing a new annual reporting requirement brought forth by Assembly Bill 2561. This new legislation took effect on January 1st, 2025. The intent of AB 2561 is to ensure that public agencies maintain appropriate staffing levels when addressing significant vacancy rates proactively. This law requires public agencies to report annually on vacancy rates, as well as their recruitment and retention efforts. Should vacancy rates reach 20%, additional requirements will apply. However, as you'll see shortly, the City of San Marcos is well below this threshold. The City of San Marcos has 3 represented bargaining units: classified miscellaneous, professional firefighters, and supervisors association. In the lower portion of this slide, you can see the current number of full-time vacancies broken down by each of the bargaining units, as well as the unrepresented employee group. Overall, the citywide vacancy rate for full-time positions is currently 6.32%. This chart breaks down the rates by group. Now I will hand it over to Human Resources Senior Management Analyst, Jacob Lizarraga, to share the exciting initiatives our HR team is doing related to recruitment and retention.
Thank you, Stacy. Good evening. Our dedicated human resources team works diligently with hiring managers to help keep this vacancy rate low. We are active on job boards, working closely with our communications team to be as attractive and creative as possible so that we are reaching top candidates for recruitments. Additionally, we are conducting compensation studies to stay aligned with the market and our competitors, making sure that we are providing competitive salaries and benefits. There's also a renewed focus on professional development opportunities for all city staff. We are investing in our employees to strengthen workforce skills, improve service delivery, and support employee growth across all departments. This includes creating promotional opportunities to recognize our talented city staff, and in fact, a few of our current vacancies are due to promotions as our employees continue their careers with the city. Lastly, our employee referral program, which has been in place for several years now, has also seen great success and allows us to connect with strong candidates. So what does this mean moving forward? We will continue to monitor vacancy rates and work through our recruitment plan to ensure we're filling vacancies with highly qualified candidates. We'll also maintain our focus on professional development, which strengthens one of our greatest assets, our employees. As required by AB 2561, we will notify each employee association of their respective vacancy rates and make an annual presentation to City Council to remain compliant with this new legislation. That concludes our presentation tonight, and we welcome any questions from the council.
Okay, do any council members have any questions of staff?
Just a brief question. Was it 19.2% on the supervisors? Is that problematic when it comes to the span of control, or is it something that's manageable at the current rate?
Those positions are sprinkled throughout the organization, so at the moment it's not causing an issue. We will be starting a cycle of recruitments after the MOUs and budget are adopted later this evening. So we're hoping to have a hard push over the summer to try to get that vacancy rate down.
Fantastic. And we are emphasizing, as we can, promoting from within into those supervisory positions?
Yes, we have a very competitive process, and we do use outside raters, inside raters, so it's always the most qualified candidate that gets the position. However, as mentioned, we are really investing in workforce development and making sure that our candidates from the internal candidate pool are extremely competitive, and we're enjoying a great success rate at the moment.
That was a fantastic HR response. Thank you.
And that's one of the things, honestly, that is our San Marcos way, I think. We do have a longevity with a lot of our employees. They like to work here, which we love that. Okay, any other further questions or comments? If not, I move to close the public hearing.
I'll second.
Okay, motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any noes? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Yes. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any noes? Seeing none. Okay, motion passes unanimously.
Can I amend the motion, Mayor?
Oh,
It's actually a motion to receive, not to approve.
Oh, yes, my apologies. Yes, to receive. Thank you.
Will the second agree to that?
Second.
Thank you.
All right. Do we need to revote, Helen? This is our first time doing this exact thing. So this is new. We've got our training wheels on. Yes, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And any noes? Seeing none? Okay, motion passes unanimously. Okay, moving on to new business. Resolution 2025-9445 and 2025-9446, adopting the operations and maintenance budget of the City of San Marcos for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2025, and the capital improvement program budget for the 5 fiscal years ending in 29/30, appropriating money out of the Treasury for budgetary purposes and authorizing appropriation and transfer of funds for the establishment of an appropriated reserve for future expenditures and/or contingencies for fiscal year 25-26. And one thing that I would like to say before we get the staff presentation is that I personally, and I believe I can probably speak for the entire council on this, we're so grateful that for our community and the trust that you've placed on us, and we take it very seriously moving forward, that we are going to be continuing the San Marcos way and being judicious with all of the funds that we are in control of. And one of the ways that we are proving that is that we already approved and have our Director of Lean Government in place, which is really important because that's leading efficiency, accountability, which is important, the accountability part, and then also the engagement to let you know what we're doing on a regular, ongoing basis and how important that is to us as a city council, and that you still will continue and that we still are trustworthy of all the trust that has been placed in us when our community voted for a tax measure, a sales tax measure. So with that, we're ready for the presentation.
Thank you so much. Staff is pleased to present you this evening with a structurally balanced budget that makes significant investments in keeping San Marcos a safe, clean, and well-maintained city, while also securing the second highest level of cash reserves in the county. This is also our first annual budget since the passage of Measure Q. So this year, in addition to working with the Budget Review Committee, staff also worked with our new Measure Q Oversight Committee. You'll be hearing from the BRC chair later this evening. I hope, all good things. Finally, I would like to recognize staff from all city departments who helped prepare this budget, and especially our finance director, Donna Apar. Donna, I'll now turn things over to you so you can get us started.
Thank you, Michelle, and thank you to the members of the Budget Review Committee and the Measure Q Oversight Committee. Good evening, Mayor and Council members. I am joined by Janet Brotherton, our Budget and Analysis Manager, and Isaac Etchemendy, Development Services Director and City Engineer. We are pleased to present the annual budget to you tonight, which is not only a balanced budget, but a structurally balanced budget. It reflects collaborative efforts to ensure efficient delivery of quality essential services, to maintain critical infrastructure, and to invest in community needs. Tonight, we'll be covering the General Fund Operations and Maintenance Budget for fiscal year 2025-26, with an overview of the upcoming fiscal year's projected revenues, expenditures, and reserves. We'll also touch on the proposed programming and the investment outlook for the 3 acquisition, replacement, and rehabilitation funds. We'll take a look at the Measure Q funds proposed spending breakdown to date. We'll talk briefly about ongoing measures leveraged in future planning. Then we'll also present the capital improvement program budget. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to Janet to go over the detail.
Thank you, Donna. While the city continues to maintain a fiscally conservative approach to revenues, especially given current economic uncertainties, general fund revenue increase over fiscal year 2025 adopted still represents a 5% increase. This slide here highlights some notable categories that contribute to the revenue increase over fiscal 2025 adopted, starting with property tax, which is about a 5% increase over last year's adopted budget. Despite unfavorable interest rates that may delay some new home buyers from entering the market, prior year housing stock turnover and significant new residential construction did add to the tax base. So with the general fund property tax base for San Marcos being comprised of about 94% residential, the additions and turnover mentioned earlier actually resulted in an increase of about 10% in the city's residential taxable value, and hence the associated increase in revenue for the city. In the spirit of continually seeking other funding sources, charges for services are estimated at a 13% increase due to higher anticipated rate of staff time reimbursements related to new developer agreements in the Development Services Department as well as the Building Division, which will ensure full cost recovery of staff costs related to our working with our development partners. And last but not least, another major contributor to the overall revenue increase is the city's revenue-generating real estate properties. Real estate portfolio revenue is estimated at a $2.4 million increase over fiscal 2025 projected, thanks to the completion of many major capital projects at our city-owned rental properties, all of which maintain our status as a competitive landlord in the market, and also add additional tenant capacity, such as the Pad M space in the Creekside Marketplace, thus ensuring long-term revenue health for the city. This chart here shows a breakdown of our general fund revenue projections for a total of a bit over $98 million. Property tax and sales tax continue to make up more than half of the total, which is typical for our general fund revenue makeup. Charges for services makes up the third largest revenue category, and its share of the general fund revenue is projected at $14.7 million for fiscal year 2026. Licenses and permits include building-related permits as well as franchise fees, and is just slightly ahead of special assessments for fiscal year 2026 at $7.9 and $7.8 million respectively. Real estate portfolio income includes our real estate partnership as well as the net revenue received from the leasable sites owned by the city mentioned earlier, such as Creekside Marketplace, and comprises 6% of the anticipated general fund revenue for fiscal year 2026. Other revenue includes intergovernmental revenue such as grants or other fees received from state and county agencies and makes up about 4% of the general fund projected revenue. And last but not least, our transient occupancy tax is projected at 2% of the general fund revenue, or about $1.9 million. While staff continue to find efficiencies in discretionary spending wherever possible and continue to recognize savings thanks to the implementation of several best value analyses conducted by departments, non-discretionary expenses noted here do account for known annual expenditure increases that departments have to consider when thinking about their requests for expenses each year. Among these known expenditure increases are $900,000 for the sheriff contract, which represents a 3.5% negotiated increase for fiscal year 2025, with one more year remaining on our current law enforcement contract, though it is worth noting that the city does maintain the lowest law enforcement cost per capita in the North County cities. Employee benefit and contract costs typically include increases related to healthcare costs, as well as negotiated merit steps and cost of living adjustments, which is another component of known increases in the operating budget. And non-discretionary business costs include utility for city facilities, fuel for city vehicles, and insurance for city buildings and infrastructures. These are kind of the expenses that would not be significantly impacted by variances in staffing or reductions in city services, and these are anticipated overall at a 3% increase due to inflation-related changes, rate changes, or other market-related factors. In order to ensure that the general fund remains in a balanced position, we continue efforts to operate the city like an efficient business. Staff is continuing to evaluate service delivery via our best value analysis program, and some eligible services that are applicable to the Measure Q public priorities have been realigned into the Measure Q fund, such as parks and landscape maintenance, streets and other infrastructure upkeep, and maintenance to our fire apparatuses and equipment in order to ensure that we maintain the high quality of life in the city. This chart here depicts the composition of general fund operating expenditures by function. Fire services and law enforcement are the two largest categories, together making up more than half of the expenditure budget for fiscal year 2026, which is typical for the general fund operating expenditure makeup. Public Works makes up the third largest division at about 13% of the budget. Internal service departments include business divisions such as Human Resources and Risk, Information Technology, Finance, Economic Development, and Communication. These departments altogether comprise 12% of the budget. Development Services makes up 9% of the budget. Parks and Recreation makes up 5% of our anticipated general fund expenditure budget. And finally, the Administration Department, Legislative Departments, which include City Attorney and City Clerk, and other financing uses such as transfers to the Senior Nutrition Fund, together comprise the remaining 6%. The City of San Marcos continues to maintain a strong reserve balance per City Council policy. The projected fiscal year 2025 level reflects a one-time emergency HVAC replacement at Fire Station 1, which was borrowed from our catastrophic emergency reserve fund balance, and in full repayment is anticipated in fiscal year 2026. With the requested budget of $97.9 million in expenditures, the city will still maintain a 40% reserve, which is projected at $39.1 million in liquid assets. Furthermore, it is worth noting that the 40% reserve level does not include other restricted assets that are owned by the city, and it also does not include our annual infrastructure investments per City Council's fiscal management policy, which further demonstrates our commitment to fiscal responsibility. For comparison, as you can see from this slide, the average reserve policy observed in the county is about 28%, with the vast majority of cities in the county falling at or below the 30% level. San Marcos maintains a level well above average, and a level that also represents the top third of all the cities in the county. With only one city in the county maintaining a reserve level above the 40% threshold, the city continues to demonstrate exceptional fiscal prudence as we continue to meet the minimum policy requirement of 40%. This slide highlights a few key projects that will be undertaken in fiscal year 2026 in the city's 3 acquisition, replacement, and rehabilitation funds, thanks in large part to the support of Measure Q. In the Vehicle and Equipment Fund, we will meet our ongoing lease obligations as well as resume our normal ambulance replacement and re-chassis program, in which the prior 2 years had been reduced due to budget constraints and for cost savings purposes. We will also be purchasing a side-by-side ATV for the Sheriff's Department in order to enhance public safety within the city. For Facilities Replacement and Rehabilitation Fund, staff will undertake much-needed upkeep, including HVAC replacements, roof repairs, and a pole replaster at Woodland in order to prevent more costly leaks and failures. In the city's Infrastructure Replacement and Rehabilitation Fund, staff will undertake many upgrades to our city parks and community spaces, such as playground replacements and lighting upgrades, as well as continuing upgrades to the city's building permit software systems. This slide illustrates the projected infrastructure position over the next 5 years. As council will recall, infrastructure funding was deferred in fiscal year 2024 and 2025, leaving our cumulative funding to date in these 3 funds at a shortfall. Little animation for you guys. As you can see, thanks to Measure Q, city staff anticipates exceeding the 6% infrastructure funding target each year over the next 5 years. Fiscal year 2026 investments alone represent 9.7% of the fiscal year 2025 general fund operating expenditure budget. The investments well above the 6% minimum projected over the next 5 years will allow staff to catch up on contributions towards infrastructure funds while also ensuring the upkeep of important city infrastructure, facilities, vehicles, and equipment. This chart shows Measure Q items funded to date by voter priority categories. While this chart does include projected expenditures for fiscal year 2025 of about $4.8 million, in fiscal year 2026 alone, Measure Q will fund about $8 million towards the infrastructure funds for various needed projects as discussed earlier. In fiscal year 2026, Measure Q will also fund $7 million in operation expenditures such as landscapes and park maintenance and fire apparatus maintenance, and Measure Q will fund $7.2 million in capital projects. Currently, at this time, roads and infrastructure's maintenance does represent the biggest funded category to date as a result of catch-up for important projects that have been deferred for some time. The city will be able to accomplish the deferred maintenance catch-up, which will keep our streets safe and our facilities in optimal operating condition, as well as enable staff to launch several necessary and now attainable preventive maintenance programs. These preventive maintenance programs will be key in ensuring long-term expenditure savings, as issues that are relatively minor will be addressed before they become more costly emergency repairs. While the current allocation does heavily favor our roads and infrastructure maintenance categories, the cumulative expenditures added to date over the 10-year Measure Q lifespan is projected to cause the categories to align more evenly as we shift in the roads and infrastructure program from less costly catch-up, and as well as the addition of some major projects in the parks and community spaces and our public safety and emergency response categories.
Thank you, Janet. Council leadership and policies continue to provide the city an advantage over others in the region to maintain long-term fiscal health and high quality of life for the community we serve. To that end, our ongoing efforts will focus on continuing to invest in the community's priorities in roads and infrastructure, public safety and emergency response, and parks and community spaces. Continue to assess and invest in our revenue-generating real estate portfolio, which has proven to be a stabilizing factor. continue to seek and obtain other funding opportunities, or as the mayor refers to it, OPM, continue to ensure that we are operating like an efficient business with ongoing best value analysis with 4 currently underway, and a strategic planning approach for deferred projects and new initiatives, which includes embarking on an economic development strategic plan in fiscal year 26. And with the National Retail Foundation analysis, which excludes auto dealers, gasoline stations, and restaurants, forecasting an increase in retail sales despite federal policy concerns, while on the other hand, some economists note that the lack of dramatic federal rate drops would negatively impact discretionary consumer spending. Needless to say, we are also continuing to monitor the volatility and are confident that our built-in safeguards will allow us the agility to navigate future potential economic headwinds and evolving community needs. Before Isaac proceeds with presenting the Capital Improvement Program budget, happy to answer any questions.
Do any council members have any questions? No?
Not right now.
No? Okay. Let's keep going.
Good evening. So good to be here this evening to present to you the Capital Improvement Program. This is very exciting, and so I'm going to give you a brief overview, and then we can go into some questions about it. So the Capital Improvement Program, or CIP, is a group of projects focused on delivering infrastructure to the community. We do this through a strategic focus to enhance the community and retain functionality of existing infrastructure. The city's program is a 5-year plan. In this plan, we look at numerous projects in various stages of development. A little later in my presentation, we'll focus on some of the key projects that are going to be happening in fiscal year 2026. The CIP budget is a non-operational budget. These projects are large, either monetarily or in terms of scope of the work they are performing. They can also be complex, long-lived. However, most crucially, the projects in the CIP have a completion. Conversely, the city's operational budget captures ongoing regular work or is simpler or less expensive in its nature. In this budget, we will be appropriating $19.1 million for fiscal year 2026. And so let's take a little bit of a deeper dive into that. Typically, the CIP program is funded almost entirely of restricted funds. These restricted funds comprise regional and state funding, as well as things like grants and developer contributions. This year, you will see a change. We are investing Measure Q funds into our capital program. Measure Q funds represent 33.2% of the upcoming fiscal year budget, with the majority of the funds coming from other restricted sources, as is typical for the program. If we look at how fiscal year 26 budget is broken down by project category, we can see infrastructure and streets leading with 47% and, categories. We can see that streets and traffic are at 35%, infrastructure at 47%. The focus of the capital program is working on rehabilitating infrastructure that has been deferred, and we are also looking at making sure that our roads are in good condition and planning for the future. And that last point of planning for the future is something I want to focus on here. Although that is 7% in this graph here, and we've been talking a lot about planning for the future, this is really critical work for the capital program. We're going to be looking at some efforts that are going to allow us to be proactive and thoughtful about how we're going to approach future projects. We're going to go into a little bit more detail on some of those, but it is worth noting that this is going to be a huge part of our upcoming capital budget.
I just wanted to make a quick comment on that. A lot of times I have people say to me, well, can't you just build this and do that? I think talking about the planning aspect of it is so important because this is government. I hate to even say this, but it's the truth. It takes a while for us to get the approvals done. A lot of times we need to go through environmental approvals, and those are very time-consuming. So if you're not doing the planning up front, there's no way that you're ever going to be able to actually
provide a project at the end because it's all that time in between. Or if you say, oh, just kidding, we're not going to do that. Now we're going to go off on a different, plan. It really does, it really takes a lot of time to do things. So I just wanted to mention that. I'm glad we're talking about it because, to be honest, I don't think we've ever actually gotten in a deep dive on that. And I think it's a really important part of what our community doesn't know because they don't know what they don't know. So anyway, I'm glad we're talking about it. Thank you.
Thank you. And that's actually an excellent segue into one of the first things we're going to be talking about with regards to planning. The fire station condition assessment is something that we're going to be looking to for our fire stations, many of which have elements that are nearing the end of their useful life. We want to do this assessment in order to help us identify and prioritize the needed renovations at our facilities. Simply looking at this from a perspective of we'll do it when it breaks is not what we want to try to be doing here. We want to be thoughtful. We want to be moving forward on these facilities in a programmatic manner and making sure we're delivering what is needed. In the same line of thought, we're also going to be performing an analysis of Woodland Pool. The goal of that analysis and planning effort is to determine the best path forward to improve the pool and plan out future scope of improvements needed at the site. Over at Discovery Lake, we have a couple of projects. The first is working to repair bridge elements that are nearing the end of their useful life. This will reduce overall maintenance for our Public Works Division, as well as ensure that the ongoing use of the trail is protected and people can continue to enjoy the lake. We are also going to be undertaking a planning effort to determine how we can address the encroaching vegetation and water quality of the lake. Over the last years, the amount of open water has been encroached upon by this vegetation, and there are constraints such as biology and other things in the area that need to be considered so we can do this thoughtfully and effectively. Over at Bradley Park, we'll be embarking on a master planning effort. The objective of this effort will be to maximize the use of the site for future improvements, as well as address how to handle facilities nearing the end of their useful life. And we do have a couple of them out there that we need to be thoughtful of. Looking at some additional projects, during fiscal year 26, we'll be working on rezoning the property the city has acquired for Fire Station 5 and moving into the design phase. We'll be investing in Richmar Park with a new mini pitch soccer arena, expanding the Parks and Recreation Department's programming offerings. We will also be installing a shade structure over the play area. We'll continue to invest in our roadways through slurry seals and reconstructions. And we will be working on efforts to restore the Myers-Doran House, also known as the Pink House. With that concludes the presentation on the capital program. I'm happy to address any questions you might have.
Thank you, Isaac. One of the things that I hear a lot about questions are the road rehabs. And so could we, I don't know if this is possible, but could we do some outreach on letting people know kind of this is the area we're going to focus on next, and then we're going to keep moving along and have like a timeline on any of it? Because I know we haven't been able to. I mean, we get our gas tax, which that is supposed to be used on that, which it is. It's restricted. But that number is not always as high as we hope. So now that we'll be working on the rehabs, can we have like a, like some sort of, I don't know if timeline is the right word that I'm trying to figure, or maybe it's usage, or what is it PS, not PSI? I forget the term for it. And if you could explain it to our folks that are out in the audience, that would be great too.
Sure.
Is it PSI?
PCI.
PCI.
Yep.
I was close.
Yeah, Pavement Condition Index.
Close. Okay.
So the Pavement Condition Index is something that we utilize in order to gauge the condition of our roadways. We regularly inspect those roadways, and in fact, we are going to be re-inspecting those roadways coming up. And we utilize that as a way to make decisions about our roadways. It is not the only data point, but it is a very crucial one, as it is a way to manage that asset. We are introducing new road rehabilitation funds into the capital program, and we can absolutely start to begin to work on where we're going to target those rehabs and start to look at how we message that out, and we'll work with the Director of Lean in order to accomplish that.
And while we love to do these sorts of projects, it's also a little pain. for our community when you've got road closures and that sort of thing. But we're going to continue, I think, working with the mapping companies so that they allow us to divert traffic. But we are going to, the director of Lean is going to work on the engagement part of letting everyone know what we're doing. So I think those efforts will be stepped up.
Yes, we are currently conducting outreach for the current paving project, and we are creating a more robust outreach program so that residents don't get trapped in their homes on the day that the paving comes through. And we're also going to work on a little education piece because it's a process. So if your road gets improved, the foundational piece is not very pretty. And then there's a lag when the actual paving comes through and you get this beautiful product. So we're going to make sure that residents know that we didn't come through, kind of mess up your road and then leave. More good stuff is to come. So we're going to be doing a lot more outreach.
And I don't remember what that's called, but when we grind it down before it gets pretty, what is that called again? I don't remember.
So it's milling is what we do.
Milling.
We mill and we...
It looks really bad during the milling process.
Yes, it does. And when we do those rehabs, that'll be the case, and we will start to work on that messaging.
Great. Okay, awesome. Thank you. Any other questions? No?
I just want to quickly comment on that same issue. My street was actually one of the streets that recently had the milling done, and I had a lot of neighbors reaching out to me wondering why the street doesn't look very pretty. So I recently found out that, you know, it is a process. And so I think just whatever we can do for like, especially if it's like in a neighborhood where there's a lot of houses, post something so that they know further work will be done, because we had some signs that said, you know, 6-2, there will be some work done, but then they left and just a lot of confusion. So I think the outreach and signs are important for that.
And that would be a segue for make sure the community signs up for alerts. Because it is good when we can just post the alerts and it automatically goes out. We're doing road work in this area. And can we target those or no? Or does it just go by what you sign up for, like if it's road work or things like that? How does that work?
Currently, I'm not sure that we have a geographic fence around the alerts, but you know, we are working on evolving our communication strategies. So I'm excited that there will be a lot more robust outreach.
And I know it's possible, so we'll get better at that. I actually like that we have room to grow, and we are working on that and focusing on it. Yes, Councilmember Nunez.
Thank you, Mayor. I do have a follow-up question about the outreach. Can you just walk us through, for the benefit of our residents, really what that outreach looks like and how they can expect to be notified and what the time frame looks like so they can prepare?
Sure, and it will vary by project, depending on the technique we're using to address the roadways. However, the strategies we use include door hangers. They include the traffic alerts that when we're out on some of our more major roadways that may not have doors on the roads.
Can I interrupt you? So when you say alert, can you, like for instance, as I sit here, I don't know what an alert looks like. Does that mean somebody has to be signed up to receive some sort of alert, or what is that alert?
Yes, that would be an alert through our website that they would have to sign up for in order to get those, and we also have those for traffic as well. So yeah.
So if I'm a resident living on Councilmember LeBlanc's street and I wanted to get some sort of notice, is there a way for me to sign up, and the way we receive other notifications about what's happening in the city? I'm just trying to figure out what those because I know personally a lot of residents that are not on social media and they're not actively looking at our website, so I'm just trying to figure out what that looks like.
Yes, for these neighborhood projects, we're doing it a little bit more grassroots, less technology. So there are postcards and door hangers that go out that are in English and Spanish. So instead of needing an alert for the project, you actually get something delivered to your door.
I have a wish on that. Is it possible that we could put a QR code in English and then Spanish on everything that we leave on someone's door so that they can sign up for alerts? because that's real-time information. And I think then, if there's a lag between when we start a project and then we aren't, carts can get lost. I mean, it can happen. So maybe there's a way to have it on there so that they sign up and then they will get the alerts in the future?
Yes, we absolutely can add QR codes. As we said, we're working. Our director of Lean's been with us 3 months, so we're gonna give her a minute to get our really robust communication program going. But we are working on the ability to do text alerts as well, and we definitely understand that slurry projects are an inconvenience until they're done. So we want to be sure that we get ahead of these projects, perhaps a little better than we've done in the last couple years, and get a very robust communication program out and get that direct line of communication so that if we do have neighbors who are concerned that, oh, what happened here? My road isn't what I expected. We'll be able to engage with them to let them know more is on the way and this is the date you can expect it. So I understand the council is very focused on community engagement, and we want to meet those expectations.
Yeah, and I think anytime there is a road closure, we do the text alert and also an email alert. I think on things that are that critical of, gee, your road is going to be closed, you might not have access, or there is going to be a closure. I think on those sorts of instances, we should always do both. I prefer more communication than less. You guys know me like that. I think that would be very helpful. And I think that would probably address what you're talking about, Councilmember Nunez.
Yes, I'm just trying to think, right? Obviously, there's a lot of information, but the more targeted we can be, obviously, I think that would benefit. And then, obviously, making it as easy as possible for our residents to figure out if they might be impacted. So, thank you for that.
Okay, yeah, no problem. Any other? Yes, Councilmember Sinella.
And thanks for the presentation. Very good information. It's all good. I'm used to it now. And like I said during the workshop, I hope my voice holds up. I'm getting over a cold, but like I said during the workshop, the way that you all laid this out in such a comprehensive and clear way really answered a lot of the questions. But along the same lines of the communication piece that was just talked about with regards to the roads, with regards to Bradley Park and the new master plan, what can we expect as far as community input for that? And will there be like workshops, and what's that look like? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I can. There would absolutely be community workshops, and we would be engaging. We'd actually be working with Lean in order to identify a comprehensive program specifically for that effort. We don't have that drafted up yet, but that would be a part of the project, would be to ensure that we're engaging with the correct people and we're addressing the community appropriately.
That's great. I think that's such a large centralized park in our community that I think it's going to be a really just incredible opportunity to kind of bring everybody together and get that feedback and that insight from everybody, and hopefully, when it's all said and done, have a really special asset for the community.
Okay. Councilmember Musgrove, and my apologies, Deputy Mayor. I did it again. My apologies. Old habits. I will work so hard not to ever do that again. All right, Councilmember Musgrove.
Isaac, I know we have had a set schedule for the different levels of maintenance and repair for the roads, the major arterials, the residential streets, feeders, whatnot. So slurry seal, reseal, milling, and we've kind of followed a routine schedule, knowing timelines. But since we put so much on deferment, some of the roads that might have been further down the line are now at a more, a greater need for repair. So you mentioned we're going back out now and reevaluating all of that. Is that going to reset the entire schedule based on where we are? Because they will still fall into the same timeline based on the surface street frequency and the type of equipment that we expect to find on it. We don't expect to see a set of doubles rolling down a residential street, so we can kind of figure that one out.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to kind of reset where we're looking at our roadways because of this updated information and evaluate what we need to catch up on. as part of our efforts, we'll get that new PCI of these roadways, and we have groupings of road rehabilitation projects we're introducing into the budget that we will look at if we need to do an overlay or if we need to do more robust efforts to catch up. And then we're going to address from there, enter that data. It's a database that we maintain and reevaluate even after that. And we do this after each project. So then that way we can every year be fresh with new data. But you still want to go out and do the physical data because you're right, it would reset it, and we need to be thoughtful about how we're looking at that.
No more cold patching when we have a pop, correct? We're going to use a hot patch. Michelle?
Well, Public Works is very proud of their hot patcher. So we do have a hot patch system that goes out. So yes, we're doing a good job. Sometimes I think there's quick fixes, but then we do go back out.
Sure. So what we're talking about is you can have a schedule for road repairs, but the big problem we have is when we have significant rainfall and the water seeps through the asphalt and the pressure from the heavy vehicles causes little potholes to pop up. So that can change the timing and the frequency of how we have to repair them. So looking at the most cost efficient and I guess most enduring way to patch these, but being flexible. Thanks.
And we don't control Mother Nature, unfortunately. Okay, any further discussion? If not, I have a couple of, oh yes, council member.
Just one quick thing, just back to the QR code idea that Mayor Jones mentioned. Maybe I was just looking back on these projects that we are going to be working on with Woodland Pool, Discovery Lake, and Bradley Park. Maybe we could have, that is one of the biggest questions I get when projects are going on, or, the Creek District. And, not to, repeat what everyone said, but people just don't know where to find the information. Maybe we could have QR codes somewhere at Discovery Lake or somewhere at Woodland Pool for more information. Click here, and it takes them directly to a link on the website that tells them about upcoming workshops, about status of what's going on, so they can see in real time, this is what's happening where I am.
Yes, absolutely. And we've recently invested in a new QR code generator. So we're going to be able to use that wherever and whenever. So that is absolutely a part of our future.
That's great. Thanks.
I didn't even know that. So how great. We're on the same page again. I love it. All right. Some members of the public. Do we have any budget review committee members? I'd like you to stand if you're here this evening so we can give you a round of applause. And I know we have actually, we're going to hear from Salvador, but I also wanted to find out if we have any Measure Q members out in the public oversight committees. All right, 2. You're doing dual hats. I love that. Okay. Anyway, just wanted to say thank you again for all of your oversight and work here in the community, volunteering, and then Salvador, you can speak now. Let's hear from you. Let's hear what you have to say. And hopefully it is good, but no pressure.
Yeah, no, nothing to worry about. It's all good things. Good evening, Mayor Jones and council members, city staff, and members of the public. Like you said, my name is Salvador Ramon, and I serve as the chair for the Budget Review Committee. I am here this evening to formally present the committee's recommendation of the adoption of the City of San Marcos fiscal budget, the 5-year capital improvement, and the corresponding resolution, very long resolution. So the resolution reflects an outcome of careful, collaborative, and analytical-driven process. Over the course of several months, the Budget Review Committee convened a series of meetings engaging directly with leadership of every city department. The Budget Review Committee is composed of San Marcos residents with diverse professional backgrounds who volunteer their time and expertise. Together, we conducted a thorough evaluation of the different department budgets to help ensure the responsible use of public resources. I would like to take a moment to formally acknowledge my fellow committee members, Chris Freeman, Joanne Harris-Malone, James Knowlton, Kathleen Smith, Samuel Nasur, Jim Garcia, and Benjamin Barlow. At this time, I'd also like to express our sincere appreciation to City Manager Michelle Bender, to city staff who came and presented throughout the different presentations. And I especially want to make sure that I thank the finance team for their support, transparency throughout this process. In particular, I want to thank Director Donna Apar, Budget Manager Janet Brotherton, and Office Specialist Jessena Avila, who always kept me on track through the proceedings. Their attention to detail, responsiveness, and well-prepared presentations allowed the committee to fulfill its responsibilities both efficiently and effectively. Our formal review began in February and concluded with our final session in May of 2025, May 28, 2025. Throughout the process, the committee was guided by the following key principles: zero-based budgeting, the preservation of long-term fiscal health, full compliance of legal and regulatory obligations, alignment of city council adopted goals, and the best value approach to the delivery of services. The proposed operation and maintenance budget accounts for projected revenue and incorporates key cost drivers, including public safety contract obligations, emergency response readiness, inflationary cost pressures, and employee compensation agreements. The capital improvement project framework presents a 5-year investment plan that aims to address critical infrastructure needs across various sectors, including transportation system, stormwater management, parks, and public facilities. This comprehensive approach seeks to enhance community resiliency and the reliability of essential services. It's also important worth noting that the recent passage of Measure Q has bolstered the city's ability to undertake investments, particularly in capital infrastructure and reserves. This measure has allowed the city to responsibly resume meeting the services levels that support the quality of life that the San Marcos residents take great pride in, while simultaneously fulfilling its long-term commitments and service obligations. In closing, I am pleased to report that the Budget Review Committee supports staff recommendation of the resolution and the adoption of the fiscal year 25-26 budget and corresponding recommendations as it relates to this agenda item. We believe that the staff recommended budget is a thoughtful balance between operational responsibilities, capital priorities, and long-term fiscal responsibilities. On behalf of the committee, the BRC unanimously approves the proposed budget, which is just presented to you through staff recommendations and corresponding resolution. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I, for one, definitely appreciate your comments. I do believe they're very thoughtful, and I appreciate your volunteering. I know it's not easy, but each one of you that has spent your time and your treasure caring for our community and making sure that we're in a good position, I really appreciate it, your time. Okay, any other comments from the council? No? Yes, Councilmember Nunez.
Thank you. Perhaps I missed it. Do we have any public comments on the item?
Just Salvatore. That was from the last item. No more comments? All right. Okay. Do I have a motion?
Motion to adopt the resolution. Do we want to run through it, Mayor?
Yes,
Okay.
I will read it again. I read it in the beginning, but I'll read it now. Resolution 2025 adopting the operations maintenance budget of the City of San Marcos for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2025, and the capital improvement program for the 5 fiscal years ending 2029-30, and appropriating money out of the Treasury for budgetary purposes, and Resolution 2025-9446 authorizing the appropriation and transfer of funds for the establishment of an appropriated reserve fund for future expenditures and/or contingencies for fiscal year 2025-26.
Then my motion is to adopt the resolution as identified by Mayor Jones.
I do have some comments before we vote.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, Councilmember. Yes, go right ahead.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
I also want to take the opportunity to thank the Budget Review Committee. Thank you for all your work. I agree with the mayor. It is very thoughtful. what you've done. Thank you to our staff for all the work that's gone on. It's very helpful for us, for me. And I also want to thank our residents out there. A year ago, there was a lot of uncertainty here sitting in this seat with my colleagues. There was a lot of uncertainty of what was to come and where we would be in our budget. And luckily, Measure Q passed, right? Overwhelmingly, I think we had over 60% of our residents, of our voters that voted in favor of Measure Q. So I'm really grateful for the leadership that we had. And I'm really grateful for our residents that they were willing to do that for all of us, for our community. And especially now thinking about where we're at, thinking about all the doom and gloom that's really around us, a lot of the uncertainty that is in our federal government, that's in our state, and our county, and some of our surrounding cities. I think we really are a beacon of hope. I think our budget is very hopeful. The fact that we can look at continuing to improve the quality of life, and that's really thanks to our residents and what they've done for us. So I would be remiss not to specifically say that. So thank you once again for stepping up and for really believing in our city and our community and the work that was done specifically last year. So I'm very supportive and of what's been presented tonight, and just really grateful and hopeful. So thank you for all of this.
Is that a second?
That's
Councilmember?
what I was going to
second.
ask. Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any noes? Seeing none? Unanimous vote. Thank you very much to staff. Appreciate your time and our community. Thank you very much. Okay. And I made it easy on you, Councilmember, reading all those resolutions. Okay, next up, Resolution 2025-9447, approval of updated full-time class and comp schedule. And the recommendation is to adopt. Janelle.
Yes, good evening, Mayor and Council members. I'm Janelle Laughlin, Administrative Services Director, and tonight I'll be presenting updates to the full-time classification and compensation schedule. With this updated schedule, you'll notice that we've introduced a new user-friendly format that allows the schedule to easily be searched alphabetically by position title. Several title updates have also been updated to better reflect position duties, including IT Analyst, now titled as DevOps Engineer, and Information Systems Manager, now titled as IT Manager. Both of these positions remain in the same compensation grade. We've also added a new classification into grade 322E, Special Projects Engineer, which will support development services with high-level special projects. This updated schedule reflects the compensation changes for fiscal year 26. Finally, regarding executive compensation, I will now read the updated annual salary ranges into the record. In grade 7, with an annual range of $232,229 to $337,318 is the city manager classification. In grade 6F, with an annual range of $198,549 to $288,825 is the fire chief director of public safety classification. In grade 6, with an annual range of $185,300 to $269,552 is the assistant city manager classification. In grade 5F, with an annual range of $183,585 to $267,057 is the fire chief classification. In grade 5, with an annual range of $173,177 to $251,918 are the Administrative Services Director, Deputy City Manager, and Development Services Director / City Engineer classifications. In grade 4 and 4E, with an annual range of $161,848 to $235,438 are the city engineer, director of finance, director of IT, director of lean government classifications. In grade 3E, with an annual range of $151,259 to $227,339 is the deputy city engineer classification. And finally, in grade 3, with an annual range of $151,259 to $220,034 are the director of Parks and Recreation, Economic Development and Public Affairs Director, Housing and Neighborhood Services Director, Legislative Affairs Director / City Clerk, and Public Works Director classifications. This annual update concludes my presentation tonight, and I'm happy to answer any questions that the council may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Janelle. Any questions of Janelle this evening? Nope. Okay. I'll make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any noes? Seeing none. Passes unanimously. Thank you. Okay. Oh. Okay. Thanks. Okay, moving on to oral communications. Flower Alvarez Lopez with Universidad Popular. On the record updates.
Good evening, Mayor Jones and council members. For the record, my name is Flower Alvarez Lopez, and I serve as the co-director of Universidad Popular, a community-based organization deeply rooted in North County. I'm also a product of San Marcos, having been raised in our beautiful city and region. San Marcos is my home. I would like to offer a few brief on-the-record updates. One, the North County Gang Commission. I've recently been appointed to serve as a commissioner on the county's North County Gang Commission. I look forward to keeping you all informed of the commission's work and to identify opportunities to collaborate with the city of San Marcos on violence prevention and youth support efforts. Workers' rights collaborations. Earlier today, we met with the Office of Labor Standards and Enforcement, OLSE. We're excited about our new partnership with them to uplift workers' rights and employer responsibilities in our region. Universidad Popular has led worker right initiatives since 2021, and we currently serve as the California Workplace Outreach Program partner for the state. Emergency Preparedness Fair. We're proud to support the San Marcos Fire Department Emergency Preparedness Fair on Saturday, September 13th. Universidad Popular has a strong track record of being on the front lines as responders for emergencies, and we're honored to continue to contribute to our local preparedness and resilience efforts, and to reconnect around CERT and have another cohort be trained through CERT. Thank you for your time and continuing to prioritize community partnerships. Thank you.
Thank you, Flower. Next up is reports. Sandag. So I did not attend my last meeting. That was you.
Yeah.
Deputy Mayor
I thought
Sanella.
I updated last meeting already on this.
Did you?
Yeah, I thought we talked about the
Okay.
sole source, right?
All right.
But, I mean, I'm happy
No,
to give an update
no,
again.
no problem.
Yep.
League of California Cities, Councilmember Musgrove.
I will be very brief, Mayor, and then defer to my colleague, Councilmember Nunez. We had guest speakers. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but I will just say we had Eric Bruvold from the North County Economic Development Council, Jeremy Flowers, San Diego Workforce Partnership, Thomas Tuban from Maricosta College, Godfrey Gibbison, Cal State San Marcos, and Wendy Nelson from Palomar Community College. Councilmember Nunez. Don't be shy
Thank
either.
you.
A lot of good work.
No, I thought you were going to start. We hosted the meeting here in at City Hall. And I thought everybody did a great job hosting.
I think we were the two that went to Carlsbad last year or 2 years ago. Still on the
Yes.
council. So that was the first off-site meeting we had, and it was fantastic.
I agree.
Ours blew it out of the water.
Thank you. I agree. It was a lot of work, but I thought it was great. I've heard really positive feedback. So the idea is to rotate these meetings. So if there's any other ideas, I think we welcome that. I thought it was great. Obviously, we had more participation from our North County colleagues, as it should have been. But I think it's a great start.
I agree. We had a greater than average turnout, and I think because it was North County, so we had primaries, we had alternates, we had staff from the different cities. We had folks that came up from Imperial Beach that we left breadcrumbs somewhere around the 56, I think, so they could find their way north.
Yeah, Councilmember Mitch said
Mitch McKay,
he passed right by us and went to Vista.
And when he realized that it wasn't quite as beautiful as he thought it would be, he knew he passed San Marcos, so he came back.
That's correct.
it.
That's what I heard too. Anyway, thank you, everybody, for that work. It really was a great event, and I hope the focus was on workforce development, so I hope we continue that conversation.
Yeah, so I guess primarily it dealt with the EDC as a kind of an overview, and then the different educational aspects and how they integrate their academic portion into keeping people that attain their either certificates or degrees in North County. And Cal State said that they have an 80% retention rate from their graduates that stay in this region to continue their work, which is fantastic. And of course, the transitional programs now that are in place.
Yes.
With Palomar and Maricosta, and then Palomar in the process of offering up the bachelor's degree program.
Correct. And the other thing that stood out for me is really how they're tailoring programs to meet the demands of our employers. Yeah.
And I can just chime in. I was also at the meeting. Just a couple quick things that stood out to me were Cal State said they're getting started on an integrated science and engineering building, and that's going to be huge from them. They'll be able to go from hundreds of students in that discipline to thousands. So they're really excited about that. Also, Maricosta runs Maricosta itself runs 13 workforce programs, so that's really exciting. And Palomar College is launching a zero emissions technology program this year that they're really excited about, and their bachelor's that they're offering is in building performance and environmental design, so that's their first bachelor's. So those were some standouts for me from the meeting. But thanks again to everyone who organized the meeting. It was really well done and great feedback.
Okay. North County Transit District, Deputy Mayor.
We meet next week.
Okay. North County Dispatch, Councilmember LeBlanc.
We met 2 weeks ago, and we also discussed our budget at that meeting and passed our budget. So that's for fiscal year 2025-2026. And at Northcom, their goal is really to create an enjoyable and attractive workplace for all of the dispatchers. They work 24-hour shifts, so they need a nice, cozy, welcoming space to be in. And as a result, they spend almost 75% of their budget on salaries and benefits for the dispatchers. And for the third year in a row, they increased their allotment for training and development for staff to keep up with all the technology and all of the new updates with the technology. And we're also increasing our facility footprint for them to add some amenities to make the workplace a little more comfortable. And we're adding a few staff members this year to balance the increased workload. So we're adding a data analyst, a training coordinator, and one dispatcher. And also adding some new software and licenses to help the staff in being even more efficient. So the proposed budget increased by 8.9%, and that was mainly due to the addition of the new positions that were much needed. So we passed that budget, and that was a $7.7 million budget over there. And another action item was the Rancho Santa Fe lease amendment. And we approved entering into a revised agreement so that we could add 700 square feet of additional space in Fire Station 1 in Rancho Santa Fe to make 5 more dorm rooms for the dispatchers. So that then our final discussion item was the RINCON membership issue, which we had discussed at our last meeting. So in January of this year, the RINCON tribe requested to become a member agency of Northcom, and we asked the chiefs and the administrator to provide us with some additional information at this meeting. So since the last meeting we had, the Board of Chiefs created a membership committee that's comprised of 3 fire chiefs, which includes our own Chief Barron. And we decided to set aside the RINCON request for now, and this was a unanimous decision, and address amending the Joint Powers Agreement, which has not been updated since 2009. And basically what we want to do there is we are going to work on hiring a consultant to look at the whole agreement, but specifically we need to address what do people need to do to become members? What do tribes or cities need to do to become members? What will the buy-in amount be? There just need to be some specifics because right now it's incredibly vague. So that's something that we authorized the administrator to go back and look into hiring a consultant. We have not budgeted for that, so that's something we need to discuss at our next meeting in August to just see what a consultant would cost, see if we're officially going to go that route. But that agreement does need to be amended before we can make any decisions on the RINCON membership. So that was pretty much it.
Thank you, Councilmember LeBlanc. One thing too, because I was actually on the JPA board back then, is there also needs to be, if someone wants to leave early out of the membership, they actually need to pay. So that needs to be updated too. I'm sure it's probably already been discussed. But at the board level, there might not have been discussion about it. Just so you know, that needs to be a really important part of it as well.
Okay, thanks. We did not discuss that, so that is very important. Thank you.
Definitely, because they might not be fully vested, so that needs to be just part of the discussion. I thought I'd just bring that up.
Thank you.
Of course. Okay, Clean Energy Alliance, Councilmember Nunez.
Thank you, Mayor. At the Clean Energy Alliance, we've also been focused on we were presented with a draft budget. So at this point, that was really the highlight of our last meeting. We expect to have really the final budget at our meeting this coming month, later on in the month. And really the Clean Energy Alliance, if you remember, we've added, really the cities that are going to be part of this entity, and everybody's fully boarded, so they've been focusing on bringing in staff to make sure that we service all of the residents and the contracts. And so we did add 4 new staff. The board has not met the staff. We've been told that we should meet the new staff members that have been added, so that'll happen at our next board meeting. We did hire a 5th member, and that was to replace the clerk of the board. So it was replaced. Our CEO is contemplating adding 4 additional staff members. And at this time, really, we've been told that we're financially sound. We're working on increasing our reserves, and we expect to be able to do that. There was some hesitation by the board and really asking our CEO whether or not we really need to bring the additional staff that's being considered. So that is something that the board wants caution. And so it'll be interesting to see, I think, how the rest of the board members sort of think through that, because we realize, I think, and Councilmember Musgrove, maybe, I think they had four staff for a while.
They did, and some of them were part-time, some were supplemented from existing city staff. So Solana Beach offered up some. So you mentioned the clerk, was that Kaylin, she left?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So that's going to be a full-time position now in the hiring phase?
Yes, because right now, I believe she's still on a contract basis, on a limited basis. She's still doing some remote work, but I think she'll be transitioning out completely.
Thank you.
Yeah, so this is sort of a critical time, I think, in terms of how rapidly we're growing. So the board is looking to be cautious on that. So we will have our final budget it's expected to be presented to us at this May's meeting. I've also been informed that we do have a Citizens Advisory Committee meeting this week, and I know the focus on the agenda is also going to be the proposed budget. So we'll be looking at that.
So, sorry, I have a question. So how many employees, full-time employees, are currently?
So right now,
is it just the director and then the contract basis, the
But there
clerk?
are
But you're right, there are some that are
specialty
part-time.
consultants that
Yes.
are on contract.
Yeah.
So a great example would be Trepepi Smith. They do all the public affairs, but that's a contract. The consultants for different aspects of energy are consultants that are on contract on a as-needed basis. I think full-time, Maria, it's the CEO.
And I want to say it's 2 or 3 other
Yeah.
full-time
There aren't
that are
many.
in-house.
One of them was at our luncheon.
Yes.
At the League of California Cities. So, yeah, there are only a small handful that are actually full-time employees.
So they want to add 4 on top of the
new ones that have been hired.
I guess my question, if I have my wish, would be what's the justification of new employees and what that cost will be fully loaded with all of the benefits versus whether it's a contract employee that is just a consultant? And if the same amount of work can be done, I think, kind of like going through what we do here with the best value analysis, I think that would be a very important thing to have a justification before the leap is taken of whether it actually makes sense to have a contract employee versus a full-time employee, because not necessarily, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but not necessarily is an in-house employee the best value. I think it would depend on what their the needs are within the organization. So I feel like that's maybe not something that they should jump into. Maybe they keep a contract before and then they do a full-time analysis to make sure that that's really the best value for the agency, because it affects all of us and our rates, because that has to be absorbed by the ratepayers, which is us. So anyway, I would just caution on that.
No, and thank you for that, because I suspect that will be the greater portion of the discussion at our May meeting before any budget is approved.
Yeah, and I don't think I would jump into
You
that.
might be
with 2
jumping
feet.
in?
No,
So
not at all.
A great example is Johanna Canales.
Yes.
She works for, I don't know the full
City
partnership,
attorney for Solana Beach, she used to be.
Burke Williams, thank you.
Okay.
But that's a contract with the city of Solana
Right.
Beach. So there's a secondary contract with the clean energy specifically for the issues. And the benefit with Johanna is she's been there long enough that she worked with the current CEO when he was the city manager and it was just Solana Beach. So you have the institutional knowledge that she brings with some of the intricacies.
Right.
So those, I mean, I suppose the clean energy could hire a full-time attorney, but you'd be starting over.
Right, and that's not one of the
No,
positions that's
I
being,
would- yeah.
But I just wanted to alert that is something that we're going to be working through.
Yeah, definitely.
Before the budget is approved. The other thing that I wanted to mention as a highlight at the last meeting, we did have as part of our agenda, and this is just for our residents, the agenda does include a complete copy of the community survey results that was conducted and prepared by True North Research, Inc. And I do encourage our residents to look at this comprehensive survey. I don't see it on the website, but if anybody's interested, it is part of the agenda packet, and the full report is contained in there. And what I'll make sure is that it gets included as a link on the Clean Energy Alliance site for anybody to look at. And it is very comprehensive. And this is very recent. It just got finalized.
Okay, thank you. Okay, City Council business visits. I saw there's a stretch U, and I saw a picture of Deputy Mayor Sanella getting stretched.
Well, want me to start?
Yeah,
Mike?
go
Yeah,
ahead.
go ahead.
Please,
You
please,
too.
Deputy Mayor.
Yeah, so Councilwoman Nunez and I did a business visit recently with Stretch U. Thank you, Tess and Sarah, for organizing this. It was actually probably the best business visit that one could ever have.
Because you got stretched?
Because we got stretched, as you'll see in photos later. And so that was the highlight of the business visit, but let's focus on the business. So Stretch U San Marcos opened in 2019, bringing full-body assisted stretching services to North County. And so we hear, I mean, I think every business started in 2019 for some reason because they all had to survive through COVID. And could you imagine, as you can imagine, like a restaurant, there probably wasn't a lot of massaging and stretching going on during the pandemic. So
Where are they located? Is it by Ralph's?
Yeah. we're
Oh,
gonna-
sorry.
It's in the notes.
Sorry.
Later-
Sorry,
later
I
on.
couldn't see the notes. I don't have my glasses.
They're off a creek drive,
Creek,
you know,
okay.
not kind of across the street from like the Winco in that area.
Okay.
Excuse my cough.
Don't get me germy.
I know. I think I'm good.
Two sick people
I
next
think-
to me. Don't cough near
You know,
me.
not to get us too far off topic, but I think Danielle and I got this at the same spot when we were at the Rise Above event. We shook probably 50 or 60 hands, and we both have the exact same thing. So, so the San Marcos location is one of 3 stretch use sites in San Diego County, and they have a total of 9 locations nationwide. The team here in San Marcos includes 9 employees. What was really neat was that many of those employees are CSUSM alumni or local residents pursuing careers in chiropractic and physical therapy. So it's kind of a local touch. The store manager here in San Marcos actually is a San Marcos High School graduate, which I thought was really neat. As part of a company with over 15 years experience, Stretch U emphasizes long-term health recovery and performance improvement through accessible and science-based body work. I'm going to take the next paragraph.
Yeah.
And then
Stretch U offers customized assisted stretching sessions using a 2-part technique, sports massage and connective tissue work, followed by targeted stretching using massage tools, including percussion therapy with a massage gun. And clients can choose from 20, 40, or 60-minute sessions. So for a 20 minutes session, they do full body active and passive stretching for improved flexibility. The 40-minute session adds myofascial release similar to sports massage to reduce tension, and the 60 minutes includes all of the above plus vibration therapy to boost circulation and relaxation. And with the team of 9 employees, all practitioners are trained in-house through a rigorous 4-week certification program developed in partnership with a management team. The San Marcos location accepts HSA, FSA payments, offers services through ClassPass, and provides flexible package-based options with online offerings also available.
Is that you?
that's me. Yeah. Want me to go continue for her?
Yeah,
Okay.
this,
I am kind of.
I think he was.
No, it was very, not to get off topic, but it doesn't necessarily feel good. They're moving muscles that don't get moved very often, right? And so it wasn't painful or uncomfortable. I highly recommend it. I might even do it again myself, but it's not as comfortable as you might think it is. And so they're located, like I mentioned earlier, off of Creekside Drive. You're cracking me up now.
I thought it looked comfortable.
Stretch U San Marcos. I'm not going to be able to read this if you keep laughing. Stretch U San Marcos serves a diverse client base with a focus on athletic performance, mobility, and pain relief. The team often partners with medical professionals and pain management doctors to support clients dealing with their chronic aches and recovery needs. And Stretch U actively builds community through free demonstrations and member perks, encouraging new clients to experience the benefits of assisted stretching in a welcoming and low-pressure setting. And I will say, kind of along those same lines, they do have an offering for a 40-minute kind of sampler for potential new clients. If you just want to go in, it's $40, and they'll give you kind of a good 40-minute kind of overview of what they do, and they'll massage and stretch you, and it's a good way to just kind of learn about them as a company and their service offerings. And they're going to be having, I believe it was a big anniversary celebration in September, and they invited the council and the city to come and celebrate with them and do a little kind of party with them. So we plan to attend. That's it.
I have a quick question about them. What is their clientele like in general? Is it people mainly working through injuries? Is it athletes? Is it people who just, want to become more flexible? What is their general clientele? I've always wondered that.
I think it's a little bit of everything that you just mentioned, right? And so there's, I think they do like some physical therapy for folks that have either been in an accident or injured themselves. They definitely work on athletes. And then there was, when we arrived, there was somebody in there that they were face down like I am, so I couldn't see exactly, but they seemed like maybe they were just they were a little bit maybe older, and they were kind of getting just stretched out. And so I think it's kind of all of the above.
And then it says there too, pain relief, I guess, if you have pain.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, you were just making me laugh so hard. The way you said it, it was so, I don't know, it just struck me as hilarious. Anyway, I'm not laughing about the business, of course, just the way you said that was making me laugh. Anyway, any other discussion? I have a couple of commentary things. Nope. Okay, wildfire preparedness fair was on Saturday. Good job to our fire department working with CAL FIRE. It was great, and we had our firefighters out there with their garb, the association actually, and then cooking hamburgers, which I happen to have a hamburger, which I thought was great. That was great. That was at Walnut Grove Park. The wildfire preparedness fair is important for our community because we definitely want to make sure that everyone understands everything they can do to keep themselves as safe as possible. We need the community to also do their part. And then, let's see, on yesterday was the Shelter Ready Symposium by District Attorney Summer Steffen. I was one of the few elected officials that were there, but we had city staff there, our city manager, and then also our housing specialist. Sylvia was there. And it was great because now there's an app that is rolling out, and it is going to connect everyone to housing and all of that. It's in the infancy stage, but it really is quite helpful, it looks like. It will be great. And then today was the state of, the former state of the city, and now it's currently the San Marcos Forward, which is the San Marcos Chamber of Commerce event, a breakfast. That was a great event. It was held this year at the new wedding venue, and I want to call it Bella Vita, and I know that's not it. It is, what? Bella Gala. Yes, Bella Gala. Gosh, it is beautiful. If you've never been there, you need something special, some sort of, they do a lot of quinceañeras, birthday parties. There were over 300 people there. It was such a beautiful space. If you've never actually been there, you should look up online. I know they have a website. It really is very beautiful. I think someone went on a business visit there. I can't remember who it was. But anyway, it was, it's a really beautiful space. Anyway, that's all I have. Anyone else have anything else?
Mayor, can I ask you a question since you were able to attend our DA's launch of the new app?
Mm-hmm.
Did she happen to talk about how that's going to go out to the community, how we're going to reach and inform the community that that's
It's all
resources
by,
available?
Yeah, it's all by caseworkers that are going to be using the app. And what the app actually does, it's very cool. I can actually get you the information sent over. I think, Michelle, did you keep? I don't have it with me. I should have brought it. I didn't think about it.
Yes, I believe Sylvia has the QR code and
Yeah,
some of
there's
the
a QR
additional
code.
information, so we
Yeah,
can get
so
that.
it's an app, and it will let you know what's available. So let's say you're a caseworker and you are out and you're talking to someone and you know what their needs are. You're going to go through this little checklist. So if it's a family, if it's a single person, sometimes there are man-only shelters, woman-only shelters, only family shelters, all of those different things. You're going to go through a checklist, and then it will identify where you could locate this group. It could be a group because if it's a family. And then what it will do is it will actually save the spot for them, and then you can get them to the location. It actually saved the spot, which is really revolutionary. I think it's the first one of its kind. I don't believe that it's anywhere else. I think our DA, Summer Steffen, had indicated that it was not being used anywhere else because it was, I can't remember the name of the company that actually designed the app, but it was really, she said she was getting a lot of requests to use it elsewhere, but it's in the pilot project right now, so it's not fully rolled out. But she has been doing it in North County, so it's the Sheriff's Department, Escondido PD, Oceanside PD, and then also Carlsbad. Yes, thank you, Carlsbad. So anyway, it's a great app. It, like I said, it's not rolled out completely, but it will. I could see it would be a very, very helpful tool for in the toolbox, you know, especially because it's got the specific. Oh, and by the way, it does not keep any of the data, so it's completely 100% safe. It is merely a tool to help hold a site for someone. So it's not like you get down there and then you go, oh, that space is gone now. It'll tell you how many spaces are available. It will specifically save that space, and then that caregiver or person that is referring actually can get them to the space, and then the space will be held until, and then when they're checked in during the intake, then it actually takes that out of the app that it's no longer available. So my apologies, I didn't think about bringing it up until I was sitting here, but I do have the QR code. Actually, I think I took it into my house, so I think I have it at my house.
No, thank you
But
for that. That's helpful. I'm also thinking that our DA will probably be bringing this to our Alliance for Regional Solutions.
And they were there actually too.
Okay.
Yep.
That's great to
Definitely.
hear. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
I also had a question about that. So
Okay.
So
Hopefully I
that's-
have the answer. I did pay attention, but hopefully I have the answer.
So is it something that's just available to caseworkers and law enforcement, or could somebody who is, say, living in their car, could they download the app and try to find shelter for themselves? No.
No, it doesn't work like that because there has to be the assessment portion of it.
Okay.
Which is done by a caseworker.
Okay.
Or, you know, a person that's qualified. Not saying that a person that is unhoused is not qualified. I'm just saying it has to be someone that actually does the assessment, goes through the checklist, and then identifies the location that would best fit their needs based on availability.
Thanks. I also just wanted to say one quick thing. I will be emceeing the Kiwanis flag retirement ceremony this Saturday night. It should be a great event, family-friendly, so if anybody wants to come by, if anybody has any flags that they would like to dispose of properly, there are collection bins around the city, or you can bring it to the ceremony.
And where's the ceremony and what
It
time?
is at Walnut Grove Park at 6:30.
Okay. And you can't miss it. And we do have our fire department is there on hand, safely making sure that no one starts a fire unintentionally. They're all ready there. It's done by professionals. It's not unsafe. All right. Thank you very much. With that, this meeting's adjourned.